It's the 25th. It snowed recently. It's perfect. It's time for this video. Right? It's the 25th. It counts. It counts. I'm going to be doing Christmas portraits. Kind of like have people get in the Christmas spirit. As you get older, it kind of like feels less and less Christmassy. That's because everyone else around you is handling all the Christmas. I can set this up and I can make it feel Christmassy. Also to get good pictures, you know, I like getting good pictures. Like I want to be part of those things that made Christmas Christmassy for people. I saw these. This is $20. Fuck it. I did a Christmas photo shoot. I had, 6 different people. We did portraits. The idea was to, as much as I could, have people have that Christmassy feeling. And like through the shoot and through looking through the videos and up until like the last moments planning for this video, like I realized something. And I guess I'll say that at the end. So I had to change the lighting a little bit. So the first shoot, planning to shoot, I know it's gonna go well. I'm hoping it's gonna go well. By this point, I've taken enough pictures to know that I'm gonna get good pictures. You know what? You ever think about like what Christmas was like before? Like the moments that were just always happening while we weren't even here yet? Like when Macy's started to take over and like brand Christmas in the way that it's branded now. The Christmas that we have the nostalgia for wasn't here always. So like I wonder what it must have felt like to have been introduced to this Christmas feeling for the first time. But yeah, what was I supposed to be talking about? Huh? Is it a video? All right, the next shoot, after the first shoot went well, I'm feeling the confidence. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. So this next shoot, we're getting ready to shoot, right? And now I'm thinking like how much church played a big role in my forming of the ideas of Christmas, or those moments earlier on, and how much pageantry there was. Like I remember being in church, going so often during the week, and they were doing a play or a nativity scene, basically. This is one of my first times getting excited to like be part of something that was kind of performative. Because I was in the choir, but I just didn't want to be there. But for some reason, this part had me hype. But yeah, I remember even though I didn't like going to church and still don't, I was casted as Joseph in a nativity scene. I'm the star of the show. Hold on. My mother made me this. You know, like when you see the nativity scene, they have I don't know what it's called. You know, the thing on your head and you tie a little rope around it? That must have looked crazy. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But there was a fake baby Jesus. So who else was the star? So I remember like the only part I had was to walk from the back of the church to the front, wait for the 3 wise men to show up and give me my gifts, or give my baby and my baby our gifts. Like that was the whole thing. But like I remember that being an early Christmas memory, even though I didn't like being in the space I was in. Those moments still being low-key exciting for me. Probably didn't even want to show it also. Knowing me then, I'm not a stubborn. All right, so let's do this shoot, right? Like when I think of like doing series, sometimes it feels like collectibles. Like not like I'm collecting people, but like my father used to get me these test trucks for Christmas, and part of me feels like one day he forgot to get a gift and he was passing the Hess station and he just got me one. But from then on, he would always be like, these are collectibles, like they'll be worth something one day. After a certain point, like a certain amount of Christmases, I would always like get excited to get them because, you know, you would see the commercials, the Hess truck's back and it's better than ever. Christmas this year. The Hestrux here. Yeah, that's one of the gifts that, even though I didn't like toys, I remember never liking toys growing up. I remember playing with somebody, her name is, we called her Mama. That's such an interesting name. But she would, it was like a daycare. It was a daycare. And my mother would drop us off there. And I remember there were toys. And I remember there would be kids there sometimes. And I would be like, the kids would want to play with me with them. And I still remember saying this. I was just like, what are we supposed to do with these? The only times I really liked toys was when I could take them apart and like see how they work. So I remember when I was old enough and I got my first job, I bought some things. Like there was this gun in the 99-cent store that made sparks when you press the trigger, and it was inside of the gun, which is probably wildly dangerous. I remember taking it apart and figuring out how it worked, and that was fun, which is why I wanted to do product design. I also remember another moment where, so Christmas lights can be plugged in, and toys have this parts with batteries. So can I strip the wire? I think it was in elementary school. My father was sleeping because he worked overnight. He was like, can you strip the wires and attach it to the part that the battery's supposed to be attached to? And I remember I had Blair Witch playing. I still remember Blair Witch was playing. And whatever toy it was I had attached the wires to, I plugged in. It sparked first when I started to put it in. So I was just like, oh, should I do this? That feeling just went away, and I just plugged it in, and it popped. Smoke came out a little bit, and then I pulled it out, and I was sitting at the edge of my father's bed. I remember this so clearly. And I shoved it under the bed, and all the lights in the house went out. So my father woke up, and he was like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. The lights just turned off. He still doesn't know this. I would love to tell him that one day. Well, yeah, back to the shoot. Shoots are great. I'm hoping when people think back on these moments and see the video, they'll think, or they'll feel nostalgic for the Christmas moments. The tree was here. I didn't play Christmas music for every shoot, but it's okay. It's still Christmas. This was 2 years ago. That's still crazy to me. And then there are like the gifts under the tree, which there's nothing in it. I remember this suction cup towel rack. Not towel rack, towel rod. Let me say it again. It's a mix up. I remember this suction cup towel rod. Okay, so you remember you were young, you didn't have a job. This had to be before I was 13, because I think I've had a job since I was 13. My parents would give me money. There was this 99-cent store that we all went to so often. I still remember the layout of that place. And I remember going in and finding this towel rack and thinking like, oh, this is perfect. My mother, I don't know what I was thinking, but I remember clearly this is perfect. And we were all in the store at the same time. I was like trying to hide it and like, okay, are you buying something now? Because like, I don't want you to see what I got you. And I remember she opened it and she showed like she was elated to get a gift for me. And I remember thinking after, I was like, oh, this probably wasn't the best gift because it's not only for her, we would all have to share it. But it didn't hit me till after. That's one of my first memories of giving like a gift. But yeah, I should be talking about the shoot. Okay. Back to the shoot. I should get more comfortable, right? Hold on. Back to the next shoot. I had a lot of the Christmas lights. Bought these specifically for this shoot. But some other things I have, like, I like repurposing things between shoots. That feels, is it economic? Saving? Recycle. What am I talking about? The lights have such like this like little glow to it, like kind of like candles, like, you know, those fake candles they have in like some restaurants. But those like lights always remind me of the candles that they would give us. I don't know if anyone else goes to church often or has or had, and they do candlelight service. My church used to do that almost every Christmas, as far as I remember. Early morning, like it must have been like 2:30 a.m. Like that's what it felt like. I don't remember what actual time it was because I was a child, and I feel like whatever time I was being waken up just felt crazy to me. But we're gonna go at 2:30 a.m. And again, even though I didn't like being in that space, even though I didn't love being in that space, maybe on my path to work with or work on design or things that looked aesthetically pleasing, they would pass out these candles, DK candles, that were battery operated, and then they would do part of the service. Oh, I almost forgot. I think we would open in gifts before. I kind of, we know it's early, so you get to open one gift, and then we go to church. But anyway, they would give out all these candles to everybody, each individual member in the church. You know, there's always like this, because you know, sermons are designed, and there's like this boiling point where it gets to like the crescendo, and they would turn all the lights off, and then everyone would turn their candles on. And I remember sometimes when my candle wasn't working, because I would always check before, they'd be like, don't turn it on until it's time. I was like, if the lights go off and my candle doesn't work, I'm not going to be happy about that. Because it's the best part. And even though I didn't like waking up, I did get excited for that moment in church. That moment where I could always see everybody, but I don't know, it just felt different. I don't know what that is. Probably one of my favorite memories of being in that church, and like kind of how it connected to Christmas. All right, back to the photo shoot. Back to the shoot. Let's go to the next one. I'll stay on track next time. All right, on to the next shoot. So the Christmas tree I bought isn't real, of course. I don't know, not of course, but in my head it's of course. I don't feel like dealing with real tree. All the sap might come with bugs. I don't want bugs in my house. I don't think I've ever had a real tree, thinking about it. Yeah, because I remember, I think we had like 2 artificial trees when I was growing up, right? Yeah, I remember, and we would put it back in a box. Why do I feel like my sister called it Betsy? I feel like she called a lot of things Betsy. I could be making that up, but it sounds like something Julissa would do. And like now I'm trying to remember, there are like certain moments where I like just low-key forgot, like I can't remember the Christmases at all. Like when my mother first got sick, the Christmases around those moments. Honestly, like any home moments I can't remember, let alone that. I have such a low recollection of the times at home around when my mother got sick, let alone holidays. I probably pushed myself so far out of my body at those times, which is also around the same time where I got my first cameras and I started recording everything. So like the main moments that I do remember were when I was outside of my home, when I was at school with my friends, when I had, and I won't disclose what the pages were. If you went to high school with me, you probably still know what the pages are. There's like hundreds of videos just from that time frame. And even in moments when I would have the cheap cameras that I bought from the mini malls on White Plains Road in the Bronx. Well, this is White Plains Road. I don't know why I said that. And they would break or not be working well. My friend Calvin gave me his camera and let me record for a while. And that was really nice. I don't think he knows how much that meant to me, and I don't think I knew how much that meant to me in that moment, but it did mean a lot. I have so much footage of since I started taking pictures and videos, I have so much footage of all my life. But shout out to that nigga. Shout out to Calvin. But yeah, I think I only remember moments so well because they were moments of escape. Yeah, and that's about this shoot. I keep going off on tangents. That's crazy, isn't it? It's like this was planned. It's so weird. The people I decided to shoot with are like all people that I've kind of been close to, or like people who I speak to often, who do like to take pictures, who've helped me with my pictures. Like if I've ever taken pictures of you, I need to get more into the creative field, like professionally. That's my goal this year. If you know anything, hit me up. People I'm close to, like that made me feel comfortable. Friends, friend, family, that type of deal. Shout out to my sisters and my nephew. I remember when, after my mother passed, I feel like they made such an effort of making sure we were together for the holidays and that the holidays were good. And then I could feel now that I was in the moments where I pushed myself outside of my body. When I look back, I can see the moments where I still wasn't there. I was trying to pull myself back, and I still remember the effort that they made and like how important that was for me in those moments. I'm not that much younger than Julissa, the second oldest sister, but like I don't think I had the capacity or the strength to be there for them the way they were there for me, unfortunately. But I remember putting my attention and feelings into so much other things other than myself, just because it felt better. Like from the program I was in, where I met a lot of the people I'm still cool with, where I met them through that program, or people that I met through that program, I met them. And it's kind of far removed, isn't it? Into the people I met, their feelings. A lot of venting happened around me, and I'm okay with it. But I do know in this moment, I didn't need it, but it felt comforting. Just as like when people were pouring their feelings and shit into me, it's just like I didn't have to deal with any of mine. But I do remember working at this art store, and it was some program that they implemented that they got rid of eventually. You could make commission, and we were all going hard, and we all made it consistently over and over again. And like I don't remember how much it was, but I remember how much I was making. It felt like I was like, oh yeah, now I'm good now. Like, this is it. Yo, we good, fam, we good. It probably wasn't even that much. I was excited mostly around Christmas time because I was like, I could get my sisters and my nephew amazing gifts. Because that always makes me feel good to like make sure I give them the best thing I can. And when I can't, like I do feel like I failed low-key. And it's not about money necessarily, it's about, am I making the right decisions to be able to have the things I want to give? I know that, I want to say, does that make sense? It's not, does that make sense? Do you understand that? Have you ever felt that way? Like this feeling around failure and like being around people that you love and care for. And like maybe when you're doing better, you feel more okay with or more. But yeah, I was excited to give them gifts that I felt were like really good. And that made my Christmas, that they were happy about it. And it was like multiple gifts too. Man, I missed that. I saw a picture about it. This Christmas, I'd spoken to somebody. It seemed like I was going to work for a long time that day. Time and a half when you work on holidays. Me and Julissa had a plan, my sister, to drive out there. I just got my license. I would say a little late, but I got my license. Fuck it. And I still have no need to drive. I live in New York City. There's no need to drive yet, but it's on the list for the second quarter. Anyway, they said I'm going to be working. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she left my ride. We was going to ride together. I was going to do some parts of the highway. Still haven't driven on the highway. The schedule wasn't released until like a day or two before Christmas. Christmas. And then I learned I wasn't working and that it was too late because my sister left to see Charmaine, my other sister, and my nephew, Devon. Looking at it now, I think I went back into that space where like I just pulled myself out of like reality low-key. And I was just like, it's fine. I'm not feeling anything. I just stayed home editing. I was doing Vlogmas with art. But yeah, I think after a certain point, it hit me. I was like, wow, this really sucks. Because it was like, there's no more Hess trucks. There's no more mother. There's no more father. There's no more church. And now the only constant, which were my sisters and my nephew, is also no longer part of my Christmas. And like, that didn't feel good. It still doesn't feel good. But yeah, so I just did a lot of editing throughout the day, and my girlfriend had said I could come over, but I did feel like I wanted to be alone. Near the end of the day, she decided that she was going to come over and bring me food. And the amount of energy I get when I see her, especially that day, because it's like, ooh, human interaction. Yay, especially with her. Yeah, she low-key saved my Christmas, and I'm very appreciative of that. But yeah, back to the shoot though. So my theory with like Christmas and like it not feeling as Christmassy for people is like, one, it's just a thing that happens as you get older. You are engulfed and surrounded by these moments and events that are happening, and you have no part in planning for it. So when it hits, it's just these magical moments that come out of nowhere. And the older you get, you see how much planning it takes. And it's like artists, like sometimes when you're creating something, it may not feel that amazing because you were part of every process and you can see all the iterations of it in your head. But when you present something to somebody that's finished and complete, it's magic, or it can be magic if you fuck with it. But sometimes I wonder if it's evident that life wasn't ever really simpler. We have to deal with less hardships, of course, as children, but it was always hard. I'm sure there are moments that we could all think about where there were glimpses of our parents and what they had to do to make sure moments were great for us. I'm trying to wait for the siren to pass, but shit's taking forever. I didn't even dance to this. I mean, I guess you're not supposed to. I was really confused, like seriously, like, They're not getting on the street very fast. I hope whoever needs them, they get, oh no, there's another one coming. Are you dead ass? Don't wanna be a player no more. I'm not a player, I'll just fuck a lot. Ambulance. That's easier to dance to. Okay, that should be far enough. But with all the unsureness and challenges as the people before us got through, I will too. We will too, right? Right? Like for me, that's a not humbling but sobering. Nice. It's a nice thought to. I can imagine how it could not be for some people, but to me, it's like knowing that things are not getting more difficult. Like some things are. Homes and shit is way more money, and that fucking sucks. So. Okay, of course some things are, but life has and will always be, to a certain level, difficult. Even when you get to the financial goals you get to, there will be other things you will have to deal with. And for me, it feels good thinking about that because then I could put myself in a space where I'm like, all right, we have to handle this, and I can build up the tools that I need to continue moving forward. Imagine I wasn't recording this whole time. But yeah, as the people before me did amazing, I will too. But damn, this shit is taking long. What feels how it feels? Here's my question. What feels how it feels when you're in it? Looking through pics and saved TikToks from Christmas, I kind of felt it. Like going back and looking at everything that I had in my library around that time, like I was like, ooh, it kind of feels Christmassy. It did. But I didn't feel that in a moment. So again, what feels like what it feels like when you're in it? Like, does it ever feel like Christmas while it's Christmas? Like, I don't know, because of course you only live a moment for a second, then it's a memory. Like it happens, and after that moment where it happens, there's just memory. There's no other way to save it. I mean, besides photos and videos, which is why I take so many of them. Like there's no way to go back. There's no way to go back. So when I relate that to like success in life, like does it ever feel like you're succeeding when you are? I don't know, man. I don't know. Merry Christmas. It's the 25th. It may be January, but it's the 25th. This counts. This does count. Oh yeah. All right, back to the shoot. Next shoot. I can't see shit. I wanted to switch my